Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Bleh. Hmm. Alright, that's probably enough of a wait. Terezi, examine journal entry. I suppose I'll have to get used to writing with this hand instead. I now do so in captivity, while I bring my awe to bear on the immensity of the sub-jugulators' high jinks. I took their gesture as plain avowal of my prosecution's futility. With a lone neophyte assigned to the task, how could I view it otherwise? I was sure they'd drawn from the bottom of their deck, not intending to squander more competent mercenaries on one who'd make a show of outclassing them all before. Who'd made a show of outclassing them all before. But I discovered too late that red glare was their wild card all along. Is one allowed to be raised by a dragon in this era? Let alone one of such middling blood, their sickly hue of a gutless civil servant. Those of her caste are typically pleased to mount a sluggish collar bear or some brainless squawking spleen fowl during petty expeditions to plaster seizure notices on gamblignant property. By what fluke was this woman granted such a weapon, permitting her to luxuriate in these delusions of righteousness? Something blocked the light of the unbitten moon, treating the harbor to darkness more grim than what fell the season's apogee. I made the mistake of looking into its eyes, each like a sun concentrated into a single jewel, as two hot garnets searing through a black veil. I shut mine quickly, but the more sensitive of them was burned irreparably. When I regained sight in the other, there was only red. My fleet was in flames. The neophyte was on deck. Pyral spite, she mentioned through her ridiculous forced grin. She wanted me to know the name of the beast which was able to consume my Lucis whole. My dice were in the hold below. Not that my present luck would consent to a favorable roll anyway. I made a move for my blade. She took my arm, which I'm sure she kept as the tiniest of snacks for her ostentatious custodian. Maybe she meant to prove she wouldn't need me in irons to have my submission. Bound or free. 2, 1 or none. I wonder how well she knows it's not what I do with my arms she has to fear. I await my trial. Insert dîsc 2. seer, ascend. Hi. Terezi does own. Lateral style. Much fanfare was made of the trial, more than I would have dared to hope. It seems my luck has been returning of late. The high bloods surely intended to make a spectacle of my conviction. They filled the court block with peasants ravenous for the comeuppance of a blue blood. I wasn't about to deny them what they came for. It was kind of the authorities to supply me with the phalanx of such impressionable spectators. The weak wills were nearly as thick in the air as the rust in their veins. Funny how my other senses seem to have been piqued since exchanging glances with the dragon. What an extraordinary specimen! How I've come to covet the creature since it ruined my fleet. I know too well the whispers of a dangerous new infatuation when they beckon. But I digress. It was simple enough to nudge the hostility of the low bloods from one aristocrat to another. The subjugulators would not have been pleased, but nor could they have been altogether unamused, I would expect. I wonder if this was part of their unfathomable game. I'll never understand their riddles. I only regret I didn't get to hear the opening statement the neophyte had prepared against me. The case she compiled from all that evidence she burnt must have been damning. I bet her remarks would have stung worse than when she severed my arm. She certainly would have shown me greater mercy by taking the other instead. Alas, I mock to disguise the extent of my regret. Had my escape not necessitated her demise, she would have been made a lovely rival. Well, she would have made a lovely rival if she'd only discarded her childish preoccupation with justice. We might have made a striking scourge. Had we inched blacker, we'd have torn red miles across the land and sea. Unfortunately, the only miles to be found through her bureaucratic calling were those of red tape. When so ensnared, was eventually bound to be choked. With the court block cleared, all that remained to obstruct my freedom was his honorable tyranny himself. Upon reflection, Redglare showed the foresight of a true seer in thieving my arm before the trial. It permitted a fair fight. Though I was free, I had no fleet. No matter, with the Gamblignants decimated, I embraced the turn in fortune and pledged to put my sea grifting ways behind me. With any luck, the skies will be my future. My thoughts again returned to that dragon. But first, I was in need of temporary refuge. I sought it with the expatriate. He owed me for the sweeps of protection I provided after his brazen defiance of the Highbloods. It was perhaps the only such courageous act ever taken against a superior by one of his supercilious pedigree, and I'd not have bothered sticking my neck out for another. The admiration he'd won naturally wore thin as he persistently bemoaned his treason and banishment, and I was saddened to find this habit holding strong, even now. I wonder if he still believes she was worth it. Repairing my arm would go a little further in squaring his debt with me. Even if I came with both intact, he might have ripped one off and put him to the task just to halt his blubbering. Darklear was always a skilled machinist. Machinist? Darklear was always a skilled machinist, and the work he proved an adequate distraction. So pacified, he listened to what I had to say about my recent travails with the law and pyral spite, and what I'd comment for, in truth, the treasure he'd been keeping safe for me. I cradled the oracle in my synthetic hand, as if appraising by weight the mystic qualities it still concealed. With my vision eightfold seared away, I was blind to its secrets as the old doctor was to its present whereabouts. I had learned to keep it cloaked from the awareness of the man who once called me his protégé, a backhanded term of endearment from a smug manipulator. Locating his so-called dark pockets was the only gambit I had to countering his milk-tongued doublespeak. The expatriate, for indiscernible reasons, seemed naturally surrounded by such a void in the doctor's awareness, and so was uniquely fit to inherit the orb. The doctor could not see his treasure, nor I into it. I considered what to do with it for a while. Should I find Pyrospite by consulting with the oracle, as I had done so often to steal fortune from my adversaries? I guessed exploiting some technological means of gazing through its surface may have been simple enough, but I hesitated. Every expedient granted by its counsel, though never instantly, came at a price. Knowing his nature, I am surprised I only now recognize it as yet another instrument of his spurious benevolence, dangerous by way of selective divulgence. The sense of infallibility his oracle wrought me was superficial. The sense of infallibility his oracle brought me was superficial, and in hindsight weakened my readiness. Knowing my fate so far in advance, I took Redglaire's threat lightly. The greatest mistake I had ever made was asking the orb when I would die. But as I revisited the prophecy surrounding this unfortunate query, something struck me. I thought of the man I would have as a matesprit centuries from now, who is said to command an army of beasts. The one it called the Summoner. If my obsession with the dragon should continue to burn for so long, would he be the one to assist me in taming it? I did not have enough knowledge to ask the right questions when I had the opportunity. Were that the case, I might have asked if it would be the rare abilities of communion he possesses that would bring Pyrospite under control. Would it be on account of my influence? And if so, would I exert this influence by taking his will or winning his heart? These details I would have given no second thought in drawing from the orb, my curiosity a force usually too much to quell. But now I have thought of the summoner often. I have been troubled to know that as one so common-blooded, he could not possibly have hatched yet, nor will he wriggle from the caverns for many sweeps. So I have patience to take up my role in his story of heroism. It is a tale which reads to me as though lifted from a child's story. Yet I know I'd be a fool to doubt its veracity entirely. He would rise through the ranks of the cavalry reapers and assume command, having proven the most skilled and fearless of them. He would exhibit a remarkable pupation, the sort only recorded in myth, growing, or perhaps simply revealing, a striking pair of wings. His army, thus inspired, would spearhead a major rebellion, surely one at least on the scale of the sectarian revolt crushed by the Highbloods, who thereafter forbade its mention, or any invocation of the heretical symbols of Zoel, even in private journals. Which is why I will stick to the fable of the summoner, and not risk another execution with even oblique reference to the compelling tale of the sufferer. Resolution to the summoner's mutiny is foggy, as I only understand what has been related to me through the brief answers I thought to solicit. Ultimately, the ire of the Countess would be such that in the settling dust of the conflict, she would banish all from the home world, except the young. She would scatter all who reached maturity to the stars to fight her wars. I presume to keep them occupied, existing in a less centralized state, from which such a coup may rise. This is still an incredible notion for me to consider, and I cannot imagine how she would come to enforce such an upheaval in our civilization. Though I suppose she will have on her side the advantage of an unparalleled lifespan, and the leverage extended by the hideous psychic prongs of her deep, undulating monstrosity. That is, until it chooses another little witch to serve. Nevertheless, I take the prediction as truth, and I find it amusing that a homeworld dominated by children will be the great summoner's legacy. One of them, at least. More importantly, and less amusingly, his legacy will be my demise. You see, I first learned his name when I asked who would be the one to kill me. I have never spoken nor written of him out of contempt for the prophecy, but do so here, in my final entry for this journal. I took this to be a pitiable fate, and scoured the orb for any means of escaping it, or at least to salvage a little dignity from the tale of my downfall. Alas, it had no consolation for my vanity. But as I sit here deciding what to do with the damnable little sphere, I understand my error. It was not in failing it to chart a course through future events to turn my fortune's tide, even so many sweeps from now. It was in believing the future was mine to know. It was in believing the and the fortune mine to control. If this future is meant to breathe life into my embittered heart, and if he is to earn the right to run it through, then so be it. For him, I will commit to this page my highest expectations. And for what precious uncertainty is left in my future, I renew my rigorous anticipation. The oracle I will resolve to part with. I will conceal it in a crypt bearing the sign of the expatriate, with a map to its location hidden in this journal. To whomever finds it, be wary, for the truth it tells may leave its new keeper blind as I was, though no more. Flip. The disc is too badly damaged. You can no longer play Homestuck. Quit? You are forced to quit. You will not be able to resume playing unless you can repair the scratch in the disc. You will need to seek the service of someone who is capable of fixing a scratch. A scratch doctor, if you will. Visit doctor. You rang. That was a joke. Of course you didn't. I don't have a doorbell, remember? Ha, he, ooh. Please, come in. Welcome to my apartment. I trust you'll find my voice is more palatable against this decor. I continue to be an excellent host. I'm expecting 2 more guests later. First one, and then another. Make yourself comfortable in the meantime. But don't touch the candy on the table. That is reserved for one of my guests. Let's have a look at this disc. Ah, she really did a number on it, didn't she? It's virtually unplayable like this. What a shame. There are many moments trapped on this disc which you would have no doubt found to be quite exhilarating. But yes, I can fix it. It will take time, though. I estimate, by which I mean I am certain by way of omniscience, that when I am done, we will have reached just shy of the green circle on the card above. I am sure you have already presumed this mark represents the beginning of Act 6. The disc should be ready to run in time to witness the critical event, a confluence of thickly interwoven, concurrent circumstances which have been meticulously arranged by myself, influenced to a much lesser extent by you, and by an even more negligible degree, our heroes. The scratch will be healed in time to watch these heroes put into motion, yes, the scratch itself. If you don't mind waiting here while I complete my repairs, I will tell the rest of the story. I will show you as well, as I recover data from the disk, but the visuals I supply will be nothing more than abbreviated snapshots, and my telling will be abridged. Immortality notwithstanding, I'm not going to live forever, you know. Tick. And since, for once in my life, time is at a premium, let's get on with it. Where were we? Talk. Never mind. I figured it out instantly, because of my unfathomable intellect, limitless knowledge, and mind-boggling charisma. Granted, my charisma had less to do with it than the other qualities. But it didn't hurt, did it? Here, I'll show you. Tick. The seer of mind had challenged the thief of light to a simple game of chance. If the result was the undamaged side, the thief would agree to stay. If not, she would go. Talk. The result of the flip was left inconclusive, at which point you decided to pay me a visit. But the inconclusive should not be confused with the uncertain. The actual result was trivial. It was a constant across all timelines. Both the seer and the thief knew this. The thief used her abilities to steal the fortune of her opponent and force the flip to yield what she regarded as the most favorable outcome. The seer anticipated this move correctly. This is why I don't care much for gambling. While a sucker is born with every tick of the talk, a cheater is born with each talk betwixt. Also, because it is boring, and I am already a very wealthy man. Tick. The seer relayed her terms through the generally understood argot of an assassin. The result, go, while at face value would suggest the thief was allowed to leave, was actually the seer's code word for the threat of death. This was obvious to everyone, including the thief. Talk. While the thief turned to fly away, making a show of her claiming the prize. The seer would stab her in the back the moment her guard was dropped. This was her plan. Not particularly clever tactic in its own right, but its ingenuity didn't dwell in the novelty of the ruse, nor even the neutralized probabilities in the game of chance. Psychology was in play. Tick. Naturally, the thief knew this was her intent all along. She knew the seer would have understood the outcome to be rigged, and that she likely intended to kill her as a consequence of the fixed result. This was to be seen as an implicit dare to the thief to follow the flip, to allow the flip to fall fairly, something which the seer knew the thief's ego wouldn't allow. And the seer knew the thief knew all this as well. Just another pair of cheaters attempting to play with their cards face up. Amateurs. Talk. Each was gambling, not with any vehicle of probability, which had been eliminated from the equation, but with each other's intentions. The thief indeed took the seer's bait, stealing the luck needed to effect the flip, in defiance of her dare. And in turning to leave, she then posed a dare of her own to the seer, challenging her to back up the implied threat. This was the thief's gamble. She wagered the seer would not be able to go through with it. And it turned out she was right. So ends a tale of rivalry. Well, almost. There's a bit more. But in order to understand its proper conclusion, we should first catch up with another of my other protégés, from whom I'm expecting a message shortly. The other seer. The other hero of light. Tick. Talk. Tick. Talk. Round 2. Strife. Here we left our human hero of light. She flew away to take vengeance on the noir this side of the scratch. That is, the one less angry and dangerous. The one not yet unmotivated. The one not yet unmotivated by a compelling duel. Compelling, but not particularly challenging. Olgo Perry. The seer wouldn't win this duel. My apologies if this spoils the outcome for you. I can't speak as discreetly about such matters against this canvas. I warned her. I warned my neophyte and protégé not to stare into that ball. Talk. I warned her about stairs. Moving on. I'll remind you that the pacing of my account will be characterized by a reduction in granularity from what you have come to expect by way of an undamaged disc. You will imagine the remainder of the duel to be sensational, and I will continue my steady distribution of facts as if they were pieces of candy poured from a bottomless white hemisphere. The duel ends. The seer dies. The slayer departs. The heir comes back to life. This outcome was hardly a point of suspense. It would be disingenuous of me to present it as such. and I would not belittle your intelligence with such a tawdry narrative ploy. It would be rude, and I am too well dressed for that kind of behavior. If there truly stood some chance of permanence to the heir's corpsehood, I can hear you asking now, how could this moment later come to pass? And, for that matter, what sort of story would this be, with our human hero of breath made to stay a cadaver? Definitely not one the Alpha timeline would allow. And what sort of spectator would you be? If you'd forgotten the terms ruling the conditional immortality he'd won, with his previous similarly unceremonious impaling. He'd done nothing to earn martyrdom, by which we might laud his fall as heroic. Nor had he tasted notoriety. To secure a death one may parse just. And while I can't give you my assurance, I'm reasonably convinced of this much. When the hero of breath dies for good, it won't be as a scoundrel. But not for lack of a devoted mentor. If I had served as his mentor directly, rather than as his mentor's mentor, he may have stood a fair chance of perpetrating something underhanded. At the very least, his jokes might have been better. Instead, he got her. The other hero of light, always bugging him. Bugging and fussing and meddling. What's her deal? Let's find out. I mentioned there was a bit more to her story, and I believe it's time to resume it. I trust you won't mind if I step away for a moment. I have important guests arriving very soon. If you need me, I'll be up here, making sure everything is in order, which it already is, and keeping an eye, which I don't have, on the clock, which I don't need. Tick, tock. Tick, tock. Bonk. Tick, tock. Tick, tock. Tick, tock. Apologies for my preoccupation. I have managed to pacify the rowdier of my two other guests with sugary little black dogs, so that I may continue my narration. But only briefly. In a moment I will go stand over by my typewriter and teach my neophyte protege the consequences for taking advice from strange men over the internet, while I continue to attend to my second guest, who is you, from an earlier point in the story. Remember? We met here, in my apartment, a little while ago. At that moment, I was busy hosting you from the future, who is you right now. But I did not mention this at the time. I would have introduced your past self to your future self and vice versa, but it is a well-known fact that past and future selves tend not to get along. A good host would never tolerate the potential for discord among guests, and as hosts go, I am simply the best there is. Please don't be alarmed. Cassie was just leaving. Where was I? Oh, of course. Smoosh. The two heroes of light had challenged the same Jack Noir, the one straddling the scratch and about 20 hours of his own time, to a circumstantially simultaneous pair of duels. Circumstantial simultaneity is a concept more complex than its temporal analog, and is valuable for examining the properties of paradox space. It is the agent responsible for the major cosmic event, which pre-extinction Alternians came to refer to as the Great Undoing. The same concept rules the innumerable lesser events by which this critical moment shall be catalyzed, including the break, my employer's arrival, the detonation of a very powerful bomb, and my own death. It is an abstraction weaving together the fortunes of otherwise perfectly disparate chronologies, such as those bound to a pair of distinct sessions. It is not fully comprehensible to a mortal mind, and the length I will go to explain it to you will not extend beyond this sentence. But the story will. The slayer was, for the moment, unmotivated by the thief's motion for a compelling duel. This side of the scratch, he opted for a more ruthless and calculating policy of extermination. On his arrival, not about to repeat the mistakes leading to his banishment, he quickly obliterated all 12 planets, followed by Prospit and dîsc, to weed out those who might outsmart him in the same manner. With his little fanfare, he seized the opportunity to follow the thief's trail quickly before it dissipated, and destroyed their hideout in the Vale. And now, knowing her position, he would return for the duel she wanted, but not without a pair of trophies. Tick. Tock. Again, sorry for the interruption. My conversation with the girl ran a bit long, slightly exceeding the 1 second I scheduled for it. This is where events begin to outpace my awareness. The deeper into this dark pocket we explore, the more I will be forced to speculate. I rarely have cause to rely on probability, but luckily for you, my guesses are better than anybody's. Tick. I have always believed that a good storyteller should have a comprehensive record of past events on hand. A scrapbook of personal significance, for instance, from which he may piece together current moments from past ones of a similar, if not identical, nature. It's more efficient. Talk. It's also logical, since there is essentially nothing new in paradox space. Everything that can happen is either a visual or substantive reproduction of something which has already transpired on a timeline, offshoot or otherwise. Tick. And if I'm going to speculate on this tool, I might as well make use of earlier clippings. For the Slayer, this was round 1 against the hero of light. Talk. All I really need to do is flip it turnways like so, and round 2. Strife. The thief would probably roll her dice. And just as probably, due to her impressive hoard of stolen fortune, she would have a 100% chance of rolling the most favorable result. Ordinarily, this result would be almost impossibly improbable. The odds of the roll would be 1 in 16,777,216, to be specific. And to be less specific, 1 in 8 to the y, where y equals 8. Hee hee. Tick. Ancestral awakening. Talk. Tick. Hey, it's quarters. Or, no, matchsticks. That's matchsticks. Talk. Shoosh. Puts out the fire. Auto. I'm gonna have a hard time reading that. Horse decoder. That's nice. Alternian cheat sheet. That's what I was looking for. Autopirate. Yes. In round two, the Slayer would be not merely compelled, but challenged, if my guess is right. Challenged by one claiming godhood before reaping the prodigious spoils from striking down a formidable endgame foe. One with the guile of a cheater, the luck of a clover, the hubris of her mentor, and the drive known only to the pathologically competitive. I believe he'd be challenged, yes. Tick. But not outmatched. As one who shares the Slayer's source of power, my projection must give him the unambiguous advantage. But even so, while I continue not to be a gambling man, that didn't stop being a thing that was true or anything. Talk. I'm reasonably sure that if I was, I wouldn't bet against her. Bonk. Moving on. Let's pull back from this ever-narrowing dark pocket. All this uncertainty is wearing thinner than the only pair of pants in an immortal's wardrobe. I've never much enjoyed navigating the vortices of an alternative possibility. The path which alone has my absolute mastery is the alpha timeline. A continuum I define as that which boasts exclusive rights both to my birth and to my death, two circumstantially simultaneous events. Any divergence from this path to my knowing will taper into blackness like rotting roots. But if I was a seer, such offshoots would be fully within my domain. And if I was a seer of mind in particular, synaptic causality would be my speciality. A seer of mind would have given you a more reliable account, perhaps, but then she would do many things I wouldn't. Tick. A seer would support her allies in battle, not with her weapons, but with her vision. She would sift through dross of her comrades' poor tactical inclinations and examine the grim consequences. A seer would not charge into the fray headlong, but direct it as a conductor with a baton. She would have the sight to eschew the obvious gambits and find the path to victory disguised cleverly as setback, or even imminent defeat. She would behold the fortunes of friends and foes in totality, and appraise the contrivances of luck itself. She would know its mines were not to be plundered, but simply explored and charted carefully. Talk. A true seer would know that where luck is a given, where it is absent. A true seer would know where luck is a given, where it is absent, and more importantly, where it doesn't matter at all. Tick. And she would know victory doesn't matter, in a reality where all else is doomed to fail. Tom. What sort of story would this be, with our knight and seer made to stay cadavers? Certainly not one the Alpha timeline would allow. Tick. And not one she'd allow either. Oh. God, Jack is getting destroyed up there. Don't fuck with coitas. Tick. Tock. Tick. Tock. Tick. Bro. Sloppy makeouts now on the roof. Tock. Tick. Tock. Honk. Honk. Tick. Oh, she saved Jack. Arachnid's grip began trolling Tentacle Therapist. John! You're heading into the blackout, so I won't be able to see you until you leave. But don't worry, I can still sense you are there. Because of awesome powers, remember? Smooth move, ditching your computer like that, by the way. That was some incredible leadership you showed. Now I have to contact you through Rose, thus exposing me to the risk of actually having to talk to her. Your carelessness has put the heroes of light in a very awkward position, John. I hope you're satisfied. Just kidding. She's obviously a little too preoccupied at the moment to be sassing me. Just borrow her computer and talk to me when you get the chance, okay? I will be waiting. Talk. Times 8. Times 8, times 8, times 8, times 8, times 8, times 8, times 8. All of the dots, John. All 16.777216 million of them. Still dead, huh? Or are you too busy weeping over her corpse to pick up that headset and answer me? You can't fool me, John. I know you are not staying dead for long. And it is not just because I can clearly see you're alive in the future. You see, we are both the best there is, and therefore we have special privileges when it comes to mortality. It's hard to keep a god dead for good. We can only die under very specific circumstances. Didn't I mention tick tock? Nothing too glorious about the way you just died, I bet. Let me guess. Even after all my lessons, you allowed yourself to get sucker stabbed, right? Pretty lame. I mean, lucky for you it was lame. I guess being lame pays off when dying a hero's what gets. I guess being lame pays off when what dying a hero is what gets you killed. If our hero had breath reached God tier, you would have been completely indestructible. Lol. Damn, I forgot. I was going to stop ripping on that guy since he got stabbed through the chest and died. Whoops. Anyway, I guess you're probably safe from a just death too, since I'm pretty sure you haven't done anything all that despicable. Yet? Stop. I don't know for sure, but I'm betting that if I had to go fight Jack, it will wipe out all the bad things I've done. I think if I die, it'll be a hero's death, so it ought to stick. Pretty good motivation to win the fight, though, don't you think? One way or another, I think this will be my last big challenge as a gamer. As such, I would like to pass my dice on to you. It is very important to me that they stay in good hands, John. That you continue their legacy, and that of my ancestor. 8 to the 8th. Use the code. I'm sure I can count on you to make something awesome with it. Slick, I am serious. Please stop. Still not alive yet? Man, you better hurry up. She probably doesn't have much time left. Trust me, what she's going through on dîsc right now isn't much fun. Okay, I guess I should mention why I'm trying to contact you now of all times, rather than just skipping ahead. Remember how we talked about your backup plan? The one you devised to defeat Jack in the off chance I fail? Well, it's not going to work if Rose is dead, is it? You have to wake her up. Breathe some life into her. Do the windy thing with your lips. You know what that means. Oh my. Gotta kiss her. Don't worry, I still can't see you, so there is no reason to be bashful or anything. And since we are a couple of professionals who are focused on winning, we both know it doesn't have any meaning. It's not like I would be jealous even if I could see. Why would I be? Or maybe that didn't even cross your mind. Man, why am I even talking about this? Oh my, oh my, oh my. This will not do at all. Let's just forget I said that. This isn't really how I wanted this conversation to go. I guess I was just assuming you'd be talking back by now. So I'm just talking and spinning my wheel device like an idiot. Maybe I don't actually know how I wanted it to go. I guess I could just shut up and skip ahead in your timeline a little, talk to you when you're alive. That would make sense. So I guess I will do that. But then maybe if I did, I wouldn't actually say what I wanted to say. So I will just say it. Pardon me while I adjust the narrow fenestrated wall. Bang, 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 bang. To be honest, I am nervous about this fight, but I'm still going through with it for a lot of reasons. To save my friends, or at least the ones who are still alive. Oh, and I guess to save reality itself from being totally fucked up. There's that too. But I think what's motivating me to win this fight the most is the possibility of getting to meet you when it's all over. Maybe I can finally put all this terrible stuff behind me. And I won't have to worry about being the best anymore, or proving what a ruthless killer I can be. Maybe I can try out whatever it is. Maybe I can try out whatever is supposed to be normal for a human. Who knows? It might not be as boring as it sounds. Maybe. If you're not too freaked out by all the bad things I've done, or the fact that I'm an alien, we could go on a date? To redirect the view from this into propriety. Oh, goodness. Hate Snog. Don't worry. It could be a human date, whatever that entails. No weird alien stuff, I promise. And no killing, or murders, or even talking about killing or murders or such. Just whatever you like to talk about and think is cool. I could even be persuaded to watch more of your absurd human films. Do you like any others which feature that rugged human with the long hair and wounded arm? You know the one. The sweaty guy with the mutilated animal and the speech impediment. Those would be tolerable to watch, I bet. There. Well, think it over. Before I go, I'll get in touch one more time later on, when you're alive and maybe have something to say about it. Oh, yeah. Sorry about your adult male guardian. I wasn't trying to be deceptive by not telling you. I decided not to, because I didn't want to be the one to make you sad about it. Was that selfish of me? I don't know. You would have found out regardless, like we all did. There are things we care about that we just have to leave behind. It just sucks for those who aren't in as much of a hurry to leave it all behind as me. Wait, something's coming. Hang on. I am a wonderful chaperone, as well as an excellent host. Frogs. Oh god. She's wearing her RP outfit? What the hell is she up to? Man, she's got her dumb dragon doll and everything. Guess she means business this time. Damn it. I've gotta go deal with this now. Anyway, if you actually get around to reading any of this, thanks for listening, John. If my outrageously great luck has any say in the matter, we will be meeting up in no time. Just please consider what I've said. Okay. Later. Tick, tock, tick. Stop! Facepalm times 0 combo. Jack appeared above the forge. Clocks destroyed. 1001 out of 1,000. Oh, for crying out loud. Slick, I can tolerate many things from a guest. Curt manners, egregious womanizing, murdering the help, casual arson, even atrocious candy bowl etiquette. Dead. But it is the desecration of a priceless timepiece where I must draw the line. I'm afraid I must now insist that you take your beating quite personally. Break. Vriska, wait! Oops, hold on. Tentacle therapist sees pestering arachnid script. Ectobiologist began pestering arachnid script. Hey, are you there? I did what you said, but I can't tell if it worked. Hello? You didn't fly off to fight Jack yet, did you? I hope not. Anyway, all that stuff you said sounds fun to me. I have hells of the cage flicks to my library. I have hells of the Cage flicks in my library. I do not even care that you're an alien. You see, Cage is a universal constant which unites us all. Uh, well, if you haven't flown away, I will look forward to your message in the future. It would be nice to talk about. Uh, uh, it would be nice to talk about all this stuff that happened. Anyway, bye.
Oh God.
Hey,
Oh my fucking hell. This is so insanely awkward and sad.
what is?
Hang on.
Arachnid script, cease trolling ectobiologist. Heads.
Hey,
Carcinogeneticist began trolling ectobiologist.
hey.
Karka, that was you? Where's Vriska?
She.
She what?
Shit. I feel like an asshole for reading this whole thing.
What whole thing? You mean what she wrote?
Yeah,
Why were you snooping around on her computer?
because. Wow. Okay, so let me ask. Did you both actually like each other? Like, I mean something vaguely resembling actual genuine mutual sentiment or whatever. Not some lopsided pining bullshit.
What are you talking about?
Did you like her, you windsock-headed shitmouth? Is is what I'm asking.
Well, yeah. Why?
Okay, that's fine then. We'll talk about it later.
Talk about what?
I need you to be able to think straight. We have important shit to go over, and I don't have much time.
And so on. Otto Harley. Alright. Like what?
Plans.
What plans?
Never mind that. First, get out of the fucking blackout to a place where I can see you. Leave now. I'll contact you in a while once I've landed. Once you've landed.
Landed where?
Lohawk, obviously.
Oh, obviously.
Well, how else do you think you're going to cause a scratch, idiot? Do you even have any clue what's going on? Wait, of course you don't. You are wearing pajamas and giggling at clouds, like each one was shaped like the rudest bit of naked anatomy a human can recognize.
No, I'm not. I mean, yes, I am wearing some pretty nice, I am wearing some pretty nice pajamas. But I know lots of things. Like about the tumor, which I have already recovered. Wait, I mean, color 0000000. The tumor color. Wait, fuck. I mean, oh, screw it. You know, the Big Bomb, and some other stuff like that. I am totally in the loop.
Great, awesome, now get going.
So I have to cause the scratch, huh?
Okay, I'm done here. Talk to you in 1 second for me, one long, windy fucking journey for you.
Carcinogeneticist ceased trolling ectobiologist, and then began trolling ectobiologist.
Okay.
Hi. You let me down, Slick. Adagio Redshift.
Let's get down to business.
Aren't you going to ask me how my journey was?
No!
It was long and windy, but a lot of fun. I really like flying. It's so much fun.
Oh, I bet it is just the biggest fucking blast a guy can have without a pair of Shane globes secured to his true trembling fists.
You haven't tried it?
Every douche got to fly but me, even the useless legless fuck. May he rest in peace, I fucking guess.
Wait, is that the guy who Vriska killed?
Oh god, you actually know about that? You know what, I give up the fuck up trying to understand you and her.
Why?
Egbert, god damn it, would you shut your mouth and listen?
Okay, but is something wrong?
What?
A while ago, you talked to me, and it sounded like you were in danger, and it sounds like some people died, but you never told me what happened. Then I got distracted by a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, something is wrong. Or was. A bunch of us died, the end. I don't really want to talk about it.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, and not just because, oh, the clock is rapidly ticking down to something we're called the critical moment. And no, I don't know what that is. So close your reeking question geyser before it asks.
But I'm your friend, aren't I?
Oh, God.
Well?
John, I can't handle talking about it, okay? I just got done, dealing with Gamzee, and I'm feeling pretty emotional about it, so please, no.
Who is Gamzee?
He was my best friend.
Really? I thought Terezi was your best friend. Or wait, maybe she was your girlfriend? I forget.
My think pen! It hurts! It is presently threatening to make me its bitch, John. Is that what you want? Do you want your cool alien pal to become the bitch of a raw throbbing think pen? Such is the scenario before us.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be nosy. I just want to know some things about your situation. I am concerned.
Gamzee was my very good friend, who was this goofy, lovable bullshit clown until he went on a fucking rampage and killed some people. Liked him a lot. I don't know. I guess my best friend is just the guy who I happen to be feeling the most sentimental to at the moment. Is that a fucking crime?
No. I think I know how you feel. So he killed some people. And then what?
So then
It's okay, you can tell me.
John, trust me, you wouldn't understand. It's just a troll thing. Humans wouldn't get it. You might think I was a shithead, and I can't deal with that on top of everything, so let's drop it.
Hmm. Okay, if you say so.
Oh,
I can't believe I almost forgot. I've been dying to know since I left the battlefield. Do you know if Rose is okay? Did it work? I thought I could rely on you, of all people. Doof.
she's fine. She woke up alive on dîsc.
Really?
That's the rule, John. You kiss a dead player in time, and their dead dream self takes over, assuming they still have one.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible you reach God tier status without even understanding the more mundane means of resurrection available. Wait, your unfailing cluelessness makes it the opposite of incredible. My mistake.
So I guess it would not have worked on my dad then? Or Rose's mom?
No, but that is exactly what I wanted to picture happening behind the black curtain, John. You snogging up your dead-handed man, Lucis. Thank you for that mental image. Or Rose's adult woman, Lucis. Maybe a dead woman sweeps your senior, is more a cup of your sauce, since you apparently are not a homosexual, whatever that even means. Not even to speak of your race's absurd qualms with the notion of incest. Which, again, still sort of wondering how that can even be a thing.
Uh,
Is that your game, Egbert? Have you had your eye on Madame Lalande, and you've been waiting for a convenient resurrection opportunity to bust out your most passionate smooch motifs kept in reserve, and in front of her dead female offspring, no less? Just shameful.
well, she is a very pretty lady. But that seems like a really inappropriate thing to think about, Carcat.
You don't say! What are we even talking about anymore?
I don't know. I'm frankly pretty upset about finding them dead in the magic castle. I guess I was wondering if something could have been done. Or at least maybe to talk about it, without angry tirades being involved.
Exactly. You were embarking down trashy lane, and we've got to stamp that garbage out. We can't have you getting all morose while we've got so many irons in the fire. Fuck. Loaded phrase. Forget I said that. Just claim you shut up and forget your stupid guardian like I did with my dear crab monster guardian who I adored in no way whatsoever.
You are being a douche. Wait, what am I saying? You are always a douche.
Yes, thank you.
Your dad was a crab monster?
Shut the fuck up! We were talking about something important. Rose, remember?
Yes.
She is waiting on dîsc for your bob to be delivered. It will arrive safely a little later.
Oh, great. How do you know it gets there?
Jade told me.
To do what it is you do best. Doodly firearms. Dave. Pictures. What's with these pictures? Yeah.
Jade, from further ahead on your timeline. Before my piece of shit cloud bro made everything terrible here, she and I were hammering out these plans. I talked to her out across pretty much the full spread of her timeline until the scratch starts and the feed cuts out. So I have a sense of the whole picture here, and now it's my job to put some things into motion.
That's cool. It's nice to hear you are working together. I should pester Jade to see what she's up to.
You should sit your ass tight and do the fuck what I tell you the fuck to fucking do.
Oh.
Anyway, she and Dave do a lot of frog breeding, accelerating the process significantly by exploiting time travel, with help from me and Kanaya, since we were in charge of frog duties in our session.
Frog duties? Wait, which one is Kanaya again?
Don't interrupt! I am following a train of thought! Okay, Kanaya is my other best friend, and she was the hero of space like Jade, which means she's the stoker of the forge and is basically in charge of frogs, which sounds fake as fuck, I know. You breed the right frog to make the universe you want to make, which is a long, arduous process, and I kind of fucked it up in my game. But that's a whole other story, which I'll get to later, okay?
Wow, okay.
She and Dave ran into Jack, which I'm sure he must have saw coming, because I've never seen anyone exploit time travel so shamelessly as him. Not even Aradia.
Aradia?
Just another dead troll, who cares? Stop frowning, she was already dead before she died! So she and Dave fought with him a while, and long story short, he died. What? But it's fine. I guess that was his plan, like some bizarre, useless last stand, even if he didn't shout Jade, who was pretty freaked out by it until I talked her through it.
Did she kiss him too? You are not supposed to kiss her, Mr. Noir. You're supposed to kill her. Four times corpse smooch combo. With Jack watching.
Yeah! Right there! Well, Jack watched like a fucking creep, but it worked!
Oh my god, Carquette. It is like your shitty shipping grid is coming true before our very eyes. Remember when you made that ugly thing?
Who gives a fuck about shipping or my ludicrous stranglehold over all topics concerning romance? I'm still talking! He woke up alive on dîsc and met with Rose. That was the end of the line for Alpha Dave, to my knowledge. He doesn't time travel after that. And he and Rose stay on dîsc waiting for the bomb until you start the scratch. But I can't see either of them because of the blackout lingering around Rose for whatever reason. Nobody knows what's up with that. Regardless, his job is to plot a course through the ring to find the sun. When he does, either he or Rose will deliver the bomb. I don't know which.
If you died, I would make it my priority to kiss your corpse. I would smooch it. Smooch it so hard. Now leave, and never darken my door again. Looks like the fenestrated plane is back. But now they don't have any dream cells left. Whoever goes will be risking their life for good, won't they?
That would be the logical extension of those facts, yes!
This is unacceptable. Couldn't I do it? I am apparently immortal because of this god-tier business, so this bomb possibly would not kill me.
Okay, but don't you think there's a remote possibility that going on a suicide mission to save all of reality would count as a heroic death?
Maybe I should try to be not all that brave while I do it?
You asshole! Of course you'd be brave. That tends to be what happens when you do something really fucking courageous.
Yeah. I just don't want to lose anybody else is all.
That's just how it is. I've lost friends for way more pointless reasons. You're all out of options here. You'd be risking death just as much as they would, and they're better qualified to handle the mission as Dearth Dreamers. Jade's dream self is dead too, so she's out. And to be more specific, her dream self is an overly emotional dog who went off whimpering somewhere. I'm pretty sure she'll be completely useless.
Oh, yeah, she mentioned something about that. She said she prototyped her dream self? What happened with that?
She doesn't like to talk about it. Kind of a sore subject.
Why?
She thinks she's selfish and completely hysterical, and I guess she hates the part of herself she represents. But I mean, the thing is, she spent a long time being dead and moving on, and it's not like you can just bring somebody back and expect them to give a shit about all the stuff you think is important. I've tried to tell her that her sprite self is probably nowhere near as despicable as she's making out with herself to be. I mean, making herself out to be. You know what I mean? Look, I'm just saying, we've all got flaws, even her. And for all the shit she's given me on this very subject, she keeps herself dangling from a very high hook. She'd be doing me a major personal solid by making at least some attempt to get herself off. Wait, fuck, what did I just say?
Wow.
I mean, let herself off. The hook! The fucking hook! It's a figure of goddamn speech!
Raises eyebrows.
Put those back down! Put those the fuck back down before my hot acid rage breath burns them off your idiot face.
Okay, I am putting them back down as not suggestively as possible.
What were we even talking about? It wasn't this, whatever this is.
What is what this is?
It's nothing, you shit. This has been the conversational equivalent of us whistling through our snort barrels while touching each other inappropriately.
Was that another weird erotic slip of the tongue?
No, that was me being worked up into this ridiculous fucking conniption and saying something inflammatory. God, how does that not be clear by now?
Okay, well, what I am getting from this, aside from the possibility that Jade may or may not have kissed Dog Jade at some point, is that neither of them will be able to help with the bomb plan.
Yes, that's exactly right. The pajama prodigy used his puzzle sponge today. Besides, Jade is responsible for other important parts of the plan. For one thing, you'll have to wait for her to send you the code for the quills. You can't scratch the mesa without them. She got them from her denizen, or will later on her timeline, now that she lit the forge and woke the monster up.
Aren't those really tough to kill guys?
Yeah.
Did she kill him?
Hell if I know. Her explanation of the entire encounter boiled down to, and I quote,
shenanigans.
Lined for infuriatingly vague. Anyway, after she gives that to you, she then has to go through with the rest of the plan, which is making sure you all survive after the scratch. Minus one of the dîsc dreamers, of course. The plan revolves around the really baffling hand-wavy mumbo-jumbo, which I don't really understand, but she told me to trust her about it because the info comes from a
reliable informant.
Waiting for smug tool. It involves something to do with the yellow lawn ring. Which isn't the human word for it. It's just your word, so I feel dumb saying. It's so dumb I feel dumb saying it.
Word for what?
I guess your entire escape plan somehow pivots critically around an unwatered piece of residential property? It doesn't matter what it means. Jade says she has this figured out, and I don't have much time to do but much but trust her. The point is she's all booked up, and all too mortal, and she won't be delivering the bomb, and neither will you.
Okay, well, what about this? Since she is mortal, and I am not, sort of, and don't need to do the scratch for a while, can I go help her? Maybe she could use the protection? Maybe that is what Dave was trying to do when he temporarily died. Remember, Jack is still on the loose. He has killed Rose and Dave once, and me twice.
No! Sweet bleeding Jesus, Egbert! Sweet bleeding Jesus, Egbert! You keep bragging about your immortality and then brainlessly announce plans to go off and do something heroic. You're going to have the shortest lifespan of any immortal in history.
Sorry.
Besides, it's a total non-issue. Jack wouldn't hesitate to stab you again, but he won't hurt Jade for some reason. If anything, you could use her protection.
Really?
I never noticed when looking through her timeline earlier. It wasn't until I was talking to her in those timelines, and she told me. He just keeps following her around. I can see him off in the distance in some frames, just lurking there, shadowing her movements. It's incredibly disturbing. He lingers around her until the scratch begins and I lose the feed, never once doing anything threatening. She says she thinks it's because Jack inherited the loyalty of her Lucis. If she's right, I guess her Lucis really did offer her the most protection possible by prototyping itself. Albeit by dooming us all. The idiot. Aww. It's actually kind of cute. Sadly, he holds no such loyalty to any of us here. He regards us all as ripe for the repeated skewering. Oh fuck, maybe we should all just be dressed like Jade? I can't believe this stroke of genius only occurred to me now. I don't think he would be fooled. Dogs have a pretty good sense of smell. It was a motherfucking joke! Will you look at this mess? Anyway, it doesn't matter anymore. If we can ride this out for a little longer until the critical moment and Dave/Rose can destroy the sun, Jack shouldn't be a threat. Conveniently, if they're successful, that will signal the beginning of our own escape plan. What is your plan? Apparently, the explosion will be so huge it will be visible at great distances throughout the furthest ring, even from different sessions like yours and ours. You won't get to see it because by then your session should be wiped out by the scratch. But we will. The plan is to use it as a beacon and travel there as a rendezvous point. Rendezvous with who? We've got people there. That's what Jade tells me. Jade knows so many things lately. What is even her deal? Hell if I know. This is basically dream intelligence. Every time she goes to sleep, she has more to ramble about. She says I should go to sleep to find out. But I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to be napping between making all these plans and getting persecuted by this demented honking asshole? So yeah, we'll meet in the aftermath of the explosion with our people on the inside. Or I guess I should say outside. I don't think they can come with us through, though. Come with you where? Who are they? Dead people. As for where, it's not like we're going to stick around there forever. That would probably be depressing since we're not fucking ghosts. The scratch will reboot your session. Your whole universe, actually. So somewhere in this dreadful abyss, that new session will start up its own Insivisphere from scratch. Look at that, another pun because of that fucking word of using that fucking word every other sentence. Kill me now. But that from scratch, fucking lol, session is what you're shooting for to survive. The idea is for you all to preserve yourselves by escaping there. Through the lawn ring? Yes. Once you're there, you will help us find our way there too. And then we can all finally figure our way up what the fuck to do with the rest of our lives. Oh. So then, this is what we're supposed to meet. This is how we're supposed to meet. That's kind of exciting. Yeah, I guess, if enough of us are alive by then to meet. So, I guess you are not worried about it turning into a huge sloppy makeout fest anymore. Right! John, you and Vriska better keep your hands to yourselves, or everyone's going to be really uncomfortable. No interspecies funny business, is that clear? Blar, I am really convincingly flipping my lid about this, waving my arms around a lot, and making all my best yelling faces. Wow, look at that! It's trying to change the subject again. Huh? Poof! Subject changed. If it works and you wind up in the new session, that's why it'll be important to make sure one of the Durst Dreamers stays with you, so they can help guide us there from the ring. Won't there be other players in the new session? Like, alternate universe sessions of ourselves or such? Probably, but those chumps wouldn't know anything about us. Or all our plans, why would they? Yeah, it's just kind of a weird thought. So out of everything we just talked about, that is the thing that has you tripping globes? Whatever you say. But I guess it's sort of comforting, too. If Rose or Dave have to go off and die, at least I get to see them again in a way, even if I will be only alternate universe John to them. Maybe my dad will be alive in that session too. Okay, maybe, but before you get too excited about that, you've got to make sure you get there first, which means you have to do what I say and stick to the plan. You need to focus on getting ready to start the scratch. The game doesn't make a hard reset that easy to pull off. Once you initiate it, the game throws everything it's got at you, which is one reason why you're the best guy for the job. Because of your superpowers and silly, windy bullshit. Okay, I'll do my best. What should I do right now? Get prepared. Make all the equipment you think you'll need, stay out of trouble. Wait for Jade to send that code, wait for me to contact you for the first time, and do your best to humor him while he ignorantly attempts to flame you back into the puddle of slime you crawled out of. Please? Oh man. Our first conversation ever? I can't wait. Yeah, but can I just say something in my defense before that happens? I don't actually hate you, and I never did. I was deluding myself. Deep down, I'm sure I was always pretty okay with you. Thanks, Carcat. It wasn't a fucking compliment!
The scrapbook is now in hopeless disarray. Feel free to examine the clippings while I tidy. Try to make sense of this mess yourself. Turntech Godhead began pestering Tentacle Therapist. Here's one for you. It's a whopper. You ready? For what? This huge fucking whopper, I'm just about to say. You mean a canard of behemothic embellishment? What? Or was your resolve finally dismantled by the siren song of all that flame-broiled beef? No. Okay, first, do you even have Burger Kings out in the fucking woods? Why do you reference things that obviously aren't in the woods, like terrible burgers? I'll limit my embellishments of reference to lumber mills and sugar shanties from now on. Also, there's a Burger King less than 40 minutes from my house. I won't let this stand in the way of the new policy, though. There is? Okay, whatever. I'm talking about a dream I just had. I mean, it was a doozy, like, psychologically speaking. Doozy is like a slightly dumber word than Whopper. Certainly less delicious. It was absurdly heavy-handed. My subconscious was really slathering it on. Like whatever tangy sludge the king himself squirts on his bargain patties. It's possible that I dreamt it ironically, I don't know. I figured you'd be interested in hearing about it. It's every bit as thick and juicy as half a pound of sizzling grade A premium. Okay, this is stupid. We've got to get burgers out of this conversation. Are you busy? Yes. Cool, listen to this. I thought you didn't want me to analyze your dreams anymore. No, but this one is too good not to put under the microscope with your whole precocious psychotherapy shtick. It's almost laughably symbolic of all my mental problems, assuming I actually have those. It's grotesquely pregnant with meaning. All gestating, it's at least 8 gooey octuplets thrashing around in an undulating belly full of mind slime. Maybe we can start by evaluating that troubling metaphor. No, look, I just want your professional take on how many things in my dream symbolize dicks. We've already established that all of your dreams are packed with enough homoerotic symbolism to lift Freudian theory from the ashes of discreditation. Yeah, that's a given, but I didn't even dream about puppets this time. Are you serious? I'm clearing my schedule. This is a major breakthrough. I know, it was so much more relaxing and enjoyable. It was about me dying repeatedly. Go on. I was in this dark place, surrounded by this big flock of crows. God, this is so generically morbid. I'm sorry in advance for exposing you to my unconscious mind's fucked up cliches. That's okay. They wouldn't be cliches if they didn't comprise the unanimously understood bedrock of phallic symbolism, with no other viable interpretation. Well, obviously, I knew the birds were just black screaming skydongs. Just hear me out. I kept dying. There kept being these traps, like I would go one way and get my head chopped off, or go another way and get stabbed or whatever, and every time I died, the dream reset itself, and I was standing there alive and ready to try again. But each time I would be watching myself from the vantage point of a different crow, like I was the crow all squawking around in circles like a macabre, flapping douche. And I would always watch myself try to do something different to dodge the trap, but I always ended up dead. Well, if I've learned anything from my extensive skimming over the Wikipedia articles on dream analysis, it's that this dream is very unlikely to have any literal significance whatsoever. It's probably not about dying at all. You mean maybe it's about anxiety over maintaining my blogs? Or that my beats might not be ill enough? Yes. In fact, if you were on my couch, that would have been my next question as a licensed professional. Mr. Strider, have you considered that what you actually dread is to have your urban rhythms exposed for what they truly are, which is, clinically speaking, just shy of da bomb? And then we crack up laughing because we both know they're fresher than your mom's change of drawers and tighter than when she's wearing them. Listening to you conjure imagery of my mother in her underpants is definitely keeping us buoyed high above this swirling Freudian hellhole. Well done. Please, it's not like she's my mom. I can visualize her choice ass all I want without it getting much more than moderately uncomfortable for everyone involved. What if you were wrong? About what? Her not being your mother. Don't worry, I think you're probably safe. Luckily, I can think of no literary or historical precedent for that sort of folly whatsoever. This isn't the first time you've insinuated we're related. What is up with that? Isn't it? No, I mean, I'm not sure. I feel like you've brought it up before, which is kind of weird, but now I don't know. I think I'm getting this weird deja vu thing where I was sure we talked about this. Forget it. Why don't you tell me more about your dream? Okay, so I kept dying and kept being crows and stuff. And then I started to notice something coming from the sky. It was a faint, eerie singing. Crap. Okay. Sorry about that. It was this faint, eerie singing, and I look up and there's nothing. There's just darkness. That's interesting. I've heard about this. What did you read? Certain texts say singing from the unknowable void carries a message, that its recipient has been selected for a mission of supreme cosmic importance that will result in your death and that of billions more, but one that is essential to the perpetuation of existence itself. What the fuck sort of crackpot psychology text would say something like that? It's not from a psychology text. So then you're consulting astrology books now. Not astrology. More like zoology. Oh my fucking god, will you put that away? Okay. Keep describing the dream, though. If the rest of it is incompatible with prognoses of the zoologically dubious, I will withdraw my insinuation. There's not even much more to it. I looked up into the sky, didn't see anyone singing, but even though the sky was black, I could see the sun. It was bright as hell, even through my shades. So I flapped my wings and flew up away to it like a fucking piece of garbage, and that's it. This doesn't strike you as an impulse of self-destruction? No, not in the sense that it was a dark sacrificial zoology mission. It was more like somewhere to go besides watching myself die a lot from the vantage of a feathery murder of dumb, shitty birds. So, if hypothetically you were to accept such a mission, or even insist upon one, it wouldn't be in the spirit of genuine sacrifice, but of escape? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, something's wrong. This whole conversation is falling apart. This isn't how it originally went at all. Ah, we were making good progress, too. Why did you have to go and remember? This happened months ago. Does this mean I'm dead? What do you think? Stop it. This is so sick, you using the dream bubble bullshit to pick apart my psyche. Am I dead or asleep? If you're starting to remember, you should be able to tell me. God damn it. Maybe I'm just as confused as you about it? Yeah, right. Am I dead or asleep, Dave? I don't know. Try to remember. Feel free to examine the clippings while I tidy. Jaspers, I guess I should say farewell to you now. Why, Nabetta? Because this is the end of your timeline, and I don't know what happens to you after this. I mean, happens to you after this. Sorry, that one was kind of obtuse. What's a timeline? That's a hard question. Okay, imagine a long, tempting strand of yarn. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, so great. Now, imagine instead of being made of wiggly, enticing stuff, it's made of what lets you exist. And you were right about the twitching tip.
And you are right at the twitching tip of it. Don't you see? Look at the sky. Meow. Yes, I see the sky and can tell that indeed something is going on. But aside from that, I don't really understand what you said about being what you said being a cat. That's fine. You don't have to try too hard. All you have to know is that it's the scratch, and I'm not 100% sure what happens next for you. I still think it's nice how you slip cat things in the things you say. You're so clever and wonderful, Peta. What's the scratch? Well, you know Rose's friend John? Yes, of course. Imagine that he is using this great big circle, like a really fun scratching post, and it makes all this light come out that changes everything. Just after he starts doing that, the sky goes funny everywhere, and then I can't see you anymore. Yes, that's what it is. I think I understand that completely. I'm a bit nervous for you, especially since you remind me so much of someone I already lost. But maybe you'll be okay? I don't know. I'm not worried, Nepeta, so you shouldn't either. It's not as if I have never died before. You are a brave kitty, just like Pounce was. Pounce was a cat like me? Yes, she was amazing. I bet you and she would have gotten along famously. Oh, I bet you're right. What, was she nice to sniff? Yes, she smelled really good, and also she was super beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. Did you ever have someone nice back on Earth who you loved? Rose. I loved Rose. Of course you did. I mean, a nice cat who was your mate sprit? There was a time I remember I was thinking about girl cats a lot for some reason. I would saunter around the house making all these big meows and looking out the windows with my nose touching the glass. But then Rose's mom took me to this place where I was scared to be for a while, and then I was at home again and I didn't do the meows anymore. I guess I didn't think about the girl cats after that, which is just as well because none ever came to the windows, which really, not even when I did my biggest meows. That's too bad. But I bet lots of girl cats would have loved to be with you. If only there had been some around to hear your lovely meows. You're really nice to say so, Peta. What about you, though? Me? Yes. Well, I have never told anybody this, not even my Moirail. Actually, he's the last guy I might tell. He so wouldn't approve. But yes, I have liked somebody for quite some time. But alas, he doesn't know it. What? Don't you tell him? Maybe you can win his affection by rubbing your cheek against him. That's what I would do. Oh, no, no, no. I'm too shy even for that. And he is so adorably grumpy all the time, it probably wouldn't go over well. It's hard to explain. Maybe cats think differently, but trolls tend to be pretty cautious about expressing their feelings when it comes to the flush quadrant. What's a quadrant? It is. Okay, it has romantic applications, but it is also something more general than that. A quadrant is. How do I say this? A quadrant is a thing in a group of things that consists of four similar things. Like paws? Exactly like paws! See, that's really easy to get. I think you should tell him that you like him. You might not get the chance if you don't. For instance, I think instead of meowing at windows, I should have just scurried out a door before it could close. Then I might have found a girl cat to sniff. Oh well. I know, but it's just not that simple. I could make someone else jealous, I think. And what if he doesn't feel the same way? It's so complicated. Maybe I just need to let go of the silly infatuation. I think it's never going to happen, honestly. You shouldn't lose hope. I have another story that might give you hope, even though it should be noted again that I'm only a cat. Oh? Yes, one time I was with Rose and I was sitting there dressed up in my suit with her, as happy as can be. But then she disappeared. The whole place disappeared, and I was in another place. There was no Rose, there was someone else. I guess I loved her too in time, but never as much as Rose. It just wasn't the same. I kept waiting to see Rose again, but never did, and finally I lost hope that I would, and then I died. But then I became alive again, and I got to see her, and I was so happy. Her. That's my story, and that's why I think there's always hope even if you die. So you're saying that maybe I will have to die to get to be with him? Yes, maybe. I hope that's not the case, but I guess you just have a different way of looking at things. Thank you for the advice, Jaspers. Feel free to examine the clippings while I tidy. Pick. Oblivious. Chase, chase. Chase, chase. Secret ambush. Pass the wallet. Dave? Hey. Arachnid's grip began trolling Ghosty Trickster. Hi, John Human. Ah. Excuse me, alien time troll, but I am trying to wrap a present. Really, you all have the worst timing. Yes, I can see that. Two ugly garments and seeds for some kind of strange earth vegetable? Pretty lame present, John. Nope, not going to ask how you know my name or what I'm sending. Don't care. And one of these ugly garments is for me. Also, it's not ugly, it's awesome. Not as awesome as something you will be wearing later, thanks to me. Uh-oh, my mouse is hovering dangerously close to the block button. Oh, it always does that when I talk to trolls. It is the dangest thing. Calm down. I just thought I would foreshadow my existence to you at this quaint moment in your timeline. It is way too tempting not to let you know I have taken great care to become a very important feature of your life. Or, for that matter, to let you know that I will be giving you a present so much better than the useless crap you're shoving in that box. I will be giving you the gift of immortality. Oh, sweet. That has been on my wish list. Ranking just below a mid-condition Little Monsters poster starring Hollywood superstar Howie Mandel. Can I expect it to arrive on my next birthday? Yes, as a matter of fact. Nice guess. It will come at a cost, though. The Mandel poster or immortality? The latter, jackass. In order for you to claim it, you will have to be quite gullible and allow me to arrange your murder. I see. Here is where all the sick trolling begins. You can keep your present. I am not interested. But you will be. You will happily go along with everything I tell you to do. And then, once I have completely earned your trust, I will kill you, John. Ah. The older troll I just talked to was way better, if a tad grumpy. At least she was down with talking about cool movies. Sort of. But this is all true. I've seen it already. You have no idea how delicious the dramatic irony is right now. You will die. I will lead you into a trap and watch you bleed to death on a big stone slab with a sword stuck in your chest. There is nothing you can do about it. In fact, it has already happened. That's nice. Now scram, troll. I'll leave you alone soon, though. I was just feeling pretty pleased with myself about all the brilliant plans I made for you and your friends. Stopping by in your past to mess with your head is really just a courtesy, because I like to think we're pretty good friends by the time I get around to killing you. Okay, you got me. My feathers are all ruffled, and I can no longer tell my ass apart from a big orange earth vegetable. Now can you leave me alone? I guess so, but my inevitable grisly murder of you notwithstanding, you're a pretty fun guy to hassle. It'll be difficult sparing you from the privilege of my company until your game begins. That is basically the worst pickup line I've ever heard. Please, John.
As if there is any conceivable sequence of events which could lead to me be ever considering you as a viable romantic partner in any quadrant, even the pale ones. Blurp, derp, blah, more plausible alien sounding things. Weren't you leaving? Yes. Okay then. I mean, I was going to, but now I guess I'm not. Oh, why? Because this isn't really happening. It isn't? It did. Once. But now it's just a memory. I guess I must be dead. Okay. Is this conversation over now? Can I keep packing my present? The conversation as it went before is already over. I said goodbye and you blocked me. Don't you remember? Well, I was going to block you, but then I didn't for some reason. Exactly, because we've already been through this. You're either asleep or dead, like me. Man, I can't believe I let her trick me like that. Such an amateur mistake. I guess I am feeling something like deja vu. Maybe. I still don't think I believe you, though. Hey, do you have any recollection at all of the last message I sent you before I died? I don't even know who you are. Yeah, I figured. Just as well. I made some pretty embarrassing confessions to you. I guess I'm getting what I asked for in a way, even though it's not what I pictured. What did you ask for? I asked if you wanted to, you know, hang out. Was this after you killed me and gave me immortality? Yes. So, what do you say? Or what do you think you might have said? About what? You mean hanging out? Yeah. Oh god, this is so ridiculous. You are just a crazy troll on the internet, and I need to get packing up this present for my friend. We are not going to hang out. I'm sorry. John, there is no present. You are not in your hive, and you don't have anything to send. She received it a long time ago. None of this matters anymore. If you don't believe me, you are free to look out your window. What will that accomplish? It might help you remember. And you will be able to see me if you want. Feel free to examine the clippings while I tidy, and try to make sense of this mess yourself. So, it seems that you are, in fact, an alien, with horns and everything. Huh. Yes, John, horns and all. That totally proves I'm an alien beyond shadow of a doubt. Now, what do you make of these blank white eyes of mine? What do you think that could mean? I don't know. Aliens usually have big spooky eyes, don't they? Humans have literally the dumbest extraterrestrial lore. Weren't those supposed to be aliens on one of your posters? Haha, you mean Mac and me? Yeah, even I can admit that movie was indefensible. Well, if you want to know, normally we have bright orange eyes with gray irises. They fill in with our blood pigment as we get older. Also, normally I have this one goofy eye with 7 pupils because I'm kind of a weirdo. But I guess that's gone now that I'm dead. Not that you believe me, because you just refuse to remember anything. Oh, calling it goofy, calling yourself a weirdo. I can accept that you are an alien, but come on, meeting an alien who is also a ghost in my front yard is a bit much to believe. It is almost too awesome. So you don't remember anything about the game at all then? The destruction of your planet, bringing your ancestor back to life as a clown woman? Putting a huge flaming ocean out with your magical wind? Jack Noir dying, resurrecting, and possibly dying again? Is any of this tickling your sponge? Nope. Sounds cool though. Fuck, I cannot believe how cold it is on this planet. How can any species possibly be able to survive somewhere like this? Yeah, I thought you looked pretty cold out here, so I brought you this jacket. Hmm. Oh, okay. Hey, your clothes switched suddenly. Was that kind of alien warp some kind of alien warpifying technology, such as a warp drove, if you will? Sure, John, let's just say that's what it was. You look pretty cool with more normal clothes. Not that your space boots and pixie outfit weren't neat. Thanks. So, is this how humans begin an Earth date? With simple acts of flattery and kindness? I don't know about that, really. It just seemed like the nice thing to do. Is. Is this a date? No. I've decided this will definitely not be a date. Not until you remember something, at least. Okay, that's probably for the best. I would probably be pretty nervous on a date with a normal girl, let alone a date with an alien space ghost. Now that you mention it, me too, probably. Your goofy awkwardness is a bit contagious, frankly. So, what do we do? Now, what do we do? Well, since I am presuming you are new to the planet, I could show you around the place. That is my green slime ghost pogo ride in all its glory. In my childhood, it was hours of fun and hundreds of painful injuries. Hey, this isn't slimy at all. What the hell? Nope. I've noticed humans don't seem to keep any slime around the hive, and yet you are strangely cavalier about your open display of certain receptacles. What's the deal with that? Is it that you're just that ashamed of your secretions as a species? Um, not really? Humans just don't really have that much use for slime, I guess. Honestly, I can't think of a single practical use for slime other than to be gross. So bizarre. Anyway, this thing is kind of a death trap, and I haven't ridden it for years. I think my dad had it installed as one of his ridiculous ways of making a man out of me. Sure, my custodian had her ways of making me tougher too. Yeah, parents, right? Anyway, that's my backyard. Pretty damn boring, sorry. I would show you inside, but I don't think my dad would take too kindly to bringing an alien inside. Or just yet. I would need to brace him for it. That's fine. What else can you show me? I could show you around my neighborhood if you want. Sounds great. These are my neighbors, who live in a lot of the same looking houses as mine. I never see them. I think they're all really busy people with a lot of serious business to attend to. Hey, look, the snow melted over here. It's really warm, suddenly. Weird. Does your planet usually have these kind of temperature swings? No, this is pretty unusual December weather. I guess I'll take my coat off. I can take yours back if you want. No, thanks, I'll keep it on. There is not really much to see in this town, but there are these lakes. This lake here did not used to be a lake. A long time ago, before I was born, there was a factory here. My dad says there was a huge explosion. He was walking by with my Nana when he saw it. Then, a little later, my Nana died. My dad never told me how, except that it involved a big joke book. I never knew her, which is too bad. She sounded nice. I know what happened. I saw it. You did? Yes. Do you want to know? It might jostle your memory. Okay. I believe this is the lake where Jade landed. You landed a little ways over there, about where your hive is now. You clobbered your Nana to death with the aforementioned joke book, but it wasn't your fault. You were both just little wigglers riding meteors from the future. You created yourself, your Nana, Jade, her grandpa, not to mention Dave and Rose and their guardians, all in a lab using paradox slime, and sent them back in time as the silly grubs with arms and legs you call babies. And here you were doubting the usefulness of slime. Wow, really? Yes, absolutely. I paid close attention to all this because I thought it might give me some clues about us and our ancestors who were made the same way. Any of this familiar? Hmm. All that sounds incredible if true, but I don't have even the foggiest memory of that happening. Yeah, I figured as much. Since you seem bent on staying in your dream bubble coma, why don't I continue the tour? The tour of Earth? Sort of. What's happening? We are going on an adventure. Where? Through your memories. Through mine, too. This would be a really fun thing to do on a date, I think. If we actually were on a date, which we're not. How is this happening? Is this through the advanced alien technologies like holograms or teleportations? If that's what you want to think to keep you comfy in your stupor, sure. Where are we? This is my home planet, before it was destroyed. It's called Alternia. Oh, cool. And what's that over there? That is my hive, which is a thing that you refer to as a house. It's where I grew up. It's a castle! No shit. It is big and foreshadowing and ostentatious, just the way I wanted it. As a blue blood, I was entitled to build such a home, something set to set me far apart from the commoners. You built it? Of course not. Robots built it for me when I was very young. But I was allowed to dictate instructions. Expected to, in fact. Oh gosh, so rad. Really? I still find it interesting what sort of mundane facts humans tend to be impressed by. Anyway, my design got kind of boring as I got older. A huge castle hive sounds great, but it starts feeling pretty cavernous and lonely after a while. There were so many blocks I never even used. Your tastes change, but you get stuck with growing up in a place suited to your earliest, most juvenile inclinations. Nobody tells you that when you're a kid, though. I think I know what you mean. I feel like a long time ago I might have given my dad the impression I really liked clowns, and now there are clowns everywhere. His stupid collection just keeps growing and growing, and it drives me crazy. John, that barely comparable example is so cute, I don't even know what to say. This was my custodian. She was hurt in an accident. I killed her myself to put her out of her misery. Hmm. Holy shit. Look at these glittering space riches. Yeah, I was really into treasure hunting for a while. What's with the broken 8 balls? Never mind those. This was my respite block. From an embarrassing memory, kind of an embarrassing memory, actually. More like, more 8 balls. You sure do like to smash them. John, addiction is a powerful thing. You probably wouldn't understand. What are you wearing? Just a fairy dress. I wore it for the stupid thing I did once. Is that a rocket car stuck in the web over there? What's that about? Don't worry about it. Man, this would be such an awkward moment on a date. Again, if it was one. There's something really familiar about that rocket. Let's keep going. What's happening? Are we back on Earth? You tell me. It's my house again. Why are we here? I was having fun seeing your planet. I don't know, John. These are your memories. This is my dad's room, but I have never been inside of it. Why do I recognize it? Shrug. I think there were some birthday presents for me in there, but I can't recall which birthday that was. It was your 13th. But I'm 12. Oh, yeah, I remember this. There were all these ibs all over my house, acting all rambunctious. But why? It's all so hazy. Where is my dad? Sounds like some things are coming back to you. Any chance you remember me? Yeah? No, sorry. Hey, look! That's my dad. What's he doing here? I've missed the heck out of him. Though I'm not sure why. He should be safe at home right now. I guess I must have lost track of him, but I don't remember how. All I know is I have this feeling like I should run over and give him a hug. Well, just so you know, he is probably not actually there. Kind of like how my Lucis was just a memory. Are you a psychic alien? Like the one who Jodie Foster met in contact and assumed the form of her dead father to talk to her? As a matter of fact, yes, I am a psychic alien, but that has nothing to do with this. These are our memories, and we are in the afterlife. I keep trying to tell you, and it's starting to get frustrating. I see. So it's not me who is Jodie Foster. It is more like you who are Jodie, because no one believed her when she came home and had amazing stories to tell, except Matthew McConaughey. Arrgh. But it's okay. I will be your Matthew McConaughey. Does that mean you'll believe me now? I guess I always did, sort of. I think I've been in denial about what's happening here. It's nice that you believe me, but that doesn't mean you remember yet. So, if this isn't my dad, then where is he? He died too. You saw his body. Don't you at least remember that? No, not at all. I am remembering a bunch of things, but not that. Then what? Do you remember me yet? No. I only remember when you contacted me and said you'd kill me a little earlier, but that was months ago. I do remember talking to some other trolls like you, and playing this game. It was on my 13th birthday. I was really looking forward to playing it, but it was late in the mail. I got some presents from my dad, like this big weird clown doll that I didn't like much. Some fruit gushers. Oh yeah, I also realized I also realized gushers were made by Betty Crocker. That freaked me the fuck out. Did you realize Betty Crocker makes gushers? This comes as news to me. Well, she does. Her villainy knows no bounds. Oh, he also gave me this suit, which I remember wearing for a while, but it didn't look quite like this. It had a black tie and no ghost, so I improved it. Actually, I remember dying in a suit. You do? But this was not the suit I was wearing when I died. This was. Pick. Again. Remove. Put back. Escape. Total success. Are you okay? Been better. What happened to you? What happened to you? Um, I died in my dream and came back as a dog. Oh, I turned into a bird and got in a fight. What is that? What, this thing? Yes. Legendary sword. How did you get it? Long story. Shenanigans mostly. Yes, I figured shenanigans were probably involved. Can you be more specific? Well, basically, I'm from another timeline. We couldn't win the game there, so I came back to help Dave. Dave? Dave from this timeline. As a sprite, I'm supposed to help him with his quest. Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to help Jade too, but. She's doing alright, don't worry about it. Okay, I'll try. You were saying? So things kind of became even more crazy in this timeline than the one I was from. And it was clear Dave was never going to do the quest. I didn't get a chance to finish, not even after you brought the forge. The forge? Your volcano. Oh. So after laying low for a while, I just went and did whatever I could myself. Got Calidfulge, the fucking Welsh sword Dave broke. Went to look for Hephaestus again, figuring there wasn't much hope in beating him this time either, especially being injured and all. But what the hell, right? But then that's when you lit the forge somehow. I did? Well, no, not you, the other Jade.
Yeah, she's a lot more brave than me, I think. She brought me back thinking I could help her, and all I did was disappoint her and everyone else. You came back as a sprite and you're managing to do important things, but I just feel so scared and helpless.
Sounds like you came back because Jade made the decision for you. I made the decision to come back myself. Maybe it'd be different if you had the same chance. Eh, I made the decision to come back myself. Maybe it'd be different if you had the same chance.
I don't know if I would have had the chance, but I would have liked but I would like not to feel so useless to everybody.
I think everyone's on top of this. There's not much for us to do anymore.
What about your sword? Isn't it important?
I guess so, but not really for me since I'm not the real Dave anymore.
I'm still not sure how you got it. What does it have to do with my volcano?
That's a bit complicated. See, it turns out I had no idea how the denizens worked at all. No, crap. I remember waking up here after getting shot.
Yes. What else?
Then the cage bunny came. He gave us the bomb. Where'd he go anyway?
She's around.
The bunny's a she.
Her name is Liv Tyler.
Dumb.
Take it up with John. What else?
We were talking about who should go.
Do you remember what we decided?
No. Wait. Wasn't I gonna go? Is that what happened? Did I go and now I'm dead?
Not quite.
What's not quite? That I didn't go or that I'm not dead?
Do you remember anything else?
No.
What about why you want to fight Jack? Why you went to fight Jack?
Sure. I did that because I wanted to, because I was supposed to.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I saw my future self fighting him, so obviously that had to happen, or else I'd be dead anyway, without even getting the satisfaction of standing up to him.
So, what was your decision was your decision as a result of desire or obligation?
Hard to explain. With all the time shit going on. Don't try to understand your light shit, do I?
I don't know much about light shit, to be honest. I may have missed my chance to figure it out.
Haven't we had this conversation already?
Mostly, I'm doing what I can to jog your memory.
It's jogging, I guess. Its man boobs are jiggling a little.
Nice. So what about Jade?
What?
You didn't tell her your expedition with her would result in your death, let alone one she'd inadvertently cause. Or that she'd be stuck with the job of resuscitating you. Did you?
What am I really supposed to say? Hey, we're gonna hunt frogs until you shoot me through the jack. Then I die and you've got to make out with me. What kind? That kind of changes how this whole thing goes, doesn't it?
Not if you're supposed to, right?
What does that even mean?
I guess you're right. No reason to make an effort to empathize if doing so comes at the price of oblivion.
What the fuck?
It must be comforting to have your own ASPD tacitly supported by predestination.
ASPD?
Antisocial personality disorder.
Oh, no, this conversation just got bum rushed by a mudslide of fucking awful.
It was already awful, believing you might. It wasn't already awful, believing you might be dead?
You don't know anything about what I was feeling or what happened on Lofoth. We were all pavement-faced and babbling your throwfester speak and flipping off the shit with your own crazy death wish thing. Why do you think you know what was going through my head? Or you were all pavement-faced and babbling your throwfester speak and flipping off the shit with your own crazy death wish thing. Why do you think you know what was going through my head? You're just assuming and throwing around psyche buzzwords as like ASPD complex disorder.
So it's a disorder, a complex, and then a disorder again for good measure?
In your case, probably.
Sounds like a positively delirious state of existence.
It's some delirious biz nasty, all right.
Oh, a snap?
Yes, I'm gonna authorize a goddamn. You may swipe it at the door to check yourself into the burn ward. Might you loosen the purse strings on an. Oh no, he didn't. Nah, those are kept in emergency reserve for yo mama jokes from the 90s. Anyway, I'm telling you, if I said anything at all about it, she probably doesn't even fire her gun once, and all I'm doing is dragging her to a timeline with me. I guess I'm learning to be impressed by your sense of obligation to inevitable misfortune. It's a strange case of inspiration through futility. None of this is that big a deal. I just mentioned the basics to her, that I'd stop time traveling soon, break out of the loops, not have to wonder all the time if I was taking a wrong turn and dooming everybody. I was never that cool with this. With what, actually? You know how you turned out to be this incredibly shitty seer of light and basically failed at that in every way imaginable? Hey! Well, maybe I never wanted to be a Knight of Time. Maybe I'd rather just be like the Dave of Guy. You know, just some dude. These really do not sound like the words of someone ready to face his own death. The kind you don't wake up from, I mean. I guess not. I guess I failed my quest then. So I'm like, now what, bitches? To nobody in particular, I guess. The unseen bitches callously conspiring to expect greatness from you? Yes, those exact bitches. If that's how you feel, then why do you insist on going on the mission to deliver the tumor? Black and whitened for a giant yin yang bomb. Oh, yeah, I remember that now. Then I guess that's what happened. I delivered the bomb and now I must be dead. Are you sure? Is that wrong? Maybe you should try to answer the question. Why did you want to go? Because I made the maps and so I'd know how to get there better. But it seems simple enough. A set of bearings to follow. See? The application pilots the moon. Change course when necessary. Anyone can do it, really. We talked about this, debated if you recall. Okay, if you remember it all so clearly, why are you grilling me on this shit? Will you just tell me what's going on? I'm just seeing if you can remember. And if you're sticking to your story about why you should be the one to go. Well, I am. Because I should. Or should have. Man, what the fuck is going on? Am I dead or are you dead or what? You're almost there, really. Just try to remember a little more. What happened after we decided you'd go? Oh yeah. We were trying to figure out a way to detach the moon so I could pilot it out there, fly it into the sun. But the chain was huge, couldn't think of how to break it, and then out of nowhere this sword appears in this thing. So I'm thinking obviously I have to break the sword somehow, because that's all I fucking do is break swords. But as I'm thinking of how to do it, I put my hand on it, and it just snaps off with this comical shattering noise. Like I just fucked up some priceless shit in the Louvre. See, like that. Like I just did again there with my hand. Because of dream bubbles. Remember when that happened? Mm-hmm. Then I took it and sliced the chain, like this. Damn, it still cuts like it's plowed through a shaft of boneless zombie meat. Careful. I just managed to quell my appetite after all that burger talk. Whoops. Yeah. So then the moon started drifting away, and I was going to fly up and take it to the sun, and I said something to you, and I was going to, like, say bye or something. But you were just standing there, not saying anything, holding that ball of yarn. And then. Oh. God, that's right. Come on. Knocking me out so you can steal the suicide mission? God damn it, that is so trite. I really am sorry for that. It's like, here's how bad this is. We are basically Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck from John's shitty crappy movie. You made this even more Armageddon than it already was. Sealing me in the airlock so I can go home to Liv Tyler and have the most terrible babies with her. If it's any consolation, Liv Tyler came with me on the suicide mission. The bunny or the actress? Which would make you feel better? You not knocking me out with a ball of fucking yarn is fucking what? If I could have chosen a method of sparing your life you might have found more awesome, I would. Is there an ironic way to do that? That probably comes close, but that doesn't make it not lame as hell. Does it matter if I took some personal satisfaction in seeing you fall unconscious at the gentle glance of a soft cotton cloak? It's cool you are so tickled by this. I hope it brought you a lot of rad laughs on your way to go fucking explode. Hmm. So that's it. I'm actually lying here on Durs asleep. And you went out there and blew up the sun, and now you're dead, and I'm dream chilling with your smug ghost. Yes, to the first part. So you're not dead. Not yet. Then you're dreaming. What you're what, you're taking a little nap on the moon in the middle of nowhere? Afraid not. I'm wide awake. Oh, wonderful. Another interruption. It seems she's acting up again. Sorting these clippings will have to wait while I settle her down. I apologize profusely. Please continue to help yourself to the serviceable forward command in my absence. As a first-class host, I keep a healthy supply on hand at all times. Fedora, Eureka. Stand by for clarification. Enthusiastic outburst. Yes, it is as we hoped for, beyond hope. Unusual devices may be used to duplicate fresh, perfectly pressed garments inexhaustibly, as far as I know. Reconstructing complete professional ensemble now. Hold. Pleased to report restoration of dapper visage, an overwhelming success. Alas, devices to appear to hold no such promise for departed family members. Misplaced handheld steam press. Update on device utility. Combinative apparel synthesis presents intriguing possibilities. Now combining expensive leather pipe tobacco sleeve with handsome gray fedora. To document result shortly. Resulted in hat with outlandish and frivolous appearance. Do not care for. Shall discard immediately. Combination of pant, fine cotton shirt, even more disappointing. Yielded useless, excessively tall pant, relieving from wardrobe at once, so that it may make its way to Carcat. Made unwelcome determination. Production requires expensive glittering abstractions called grist. Such jewels remaining in cash, libation in reserve, at premium. Consumed final swallow of carefully rationed urine. Soon to seek water elsewhere in exotic new surroundings. More importantly, to seek grist facilitating continued accessorizing. Note to self, use spoils to make more hats. Preparing for expedition to reap gems from mischievous local fauna. Crafted sturdy but bludgeoning instrument out of an uprooted mailbox. Tall pant perhaps adaptable as defensive garment. Pardon while donning tall pant. Donned tall pant. Confidence and martial prowess perplexingly swells. Venturing out. Powering down gray serviceable handheld computing device to preserve battery. Additional updates to be submitted in a frank and forthright manner for judicious appraisal within a reasonable time frame. TIA for patients? I don't know what TIA is. Crap. Turning on handheld device for a brief report. Severe injury sustained in skirmish with undersized, sportive rascal. Tall pant unremarkable in protective utility. Damaged. Badly bloodied. No indication of laundering facilities throughout Enchanted Land whatsoever. Losing fluid rapidly. Maintaining adequate hydration levels more important than ever. Libations unfortunately not forthcoming. Rest needed. Seeking surface suitable for assuming reclined posture. Strength depleting. Tie loosened, removed, rolled up neatly, and tucked beneath hat. Minimal stamina left for disrobing sodden tall pant, leaving on. Encountered rest surface. Horizontal stone slab exhibiting unidentified iconography. A tall post at each corner. Mysteriously inviting. Mounting slab. Exhaustion. Taking hold. Excuse me, sir. At Pipe Fan 413, friend. Sound of voice nearly refreshing enough to distract from perpetual taste of warm, poorly filtered urine. Oh my, no, I am not actually your friend, dear. I am his mother. Hoo hoo hoo. Another of Pipe Femme 413's legendary pranks? Please clarify. If yes, prepare to regard as hilarious. Were that it was. I'm sorry to say there is no chicanery at play at all today. Though yes, that would be quite the doozy. I believe the late great Colonel would surely say we were cooking with petrol upon hearing such a whopper. No, I am just an old woman looking for her son. Understood, madam. You remind me of him so. Would you mind terribly if I talked to you for a little while? I am fearing the worst for my son while my grandson has gone off to do great things. I've caught myself feeling a bit lonely. Ooh. Can imagine no greater pleasure, though eyelids heavy, getting dark, feeling and fading. Oh, but you must be exhausted from your travels, you poor thing. Why don't you just lie there and rest? I will tell you a story. Pipe Fan 413's kindly mother. Thank you. It is a fairy tale about a young sister and brother who were raised by a wicked witch. The witch, in truth, was a world-famous baking heiress. Her cruelty made life miserable for the two children, who did not have their father anymore to protect them. He was the great prankster. He was the greatest prankster who ever lived, and a true southern gentleman. He was killed by a comet on the day the boy was born, and the wicked Baroness raised them alone. With a hand as firm as that which she ran her brutal baking empire. The children pledged to each other that one day they would run away together. They followed in the footsteps of the dear Colonel, in defiance of the old Batter Witch. They studied his every jape and practiced them in secret, but as they grew older, their interests drifted apart. The boy developed a passion for adventure and put aside his study of practical jokes. He dreamed of wealth and fame and discovery and swore he would wander the world. One day, he decided to run away with the local dog he inherited from their father. He asked the girl if she would come along, but she was too scared of the retribution that might follow. The boy scoffed at the danger, and assured his sister there was nothing to worry about, but he had not seen firsthand what the Baroness was capable of. He told his sister that he believed in her, and that she could handle whatever the witch could throw at her. And with that, he was off. She would never see him again. The Baroness would raise her very strictly, monitoring her in the art of baking. The girl took to her lessons with fierce determination. Her only act of defiance left was to one day surpass the Baroness in skill and beat her at her own game. It was all she could do, for the Baroness made sure she knew there could be no escape. The girl surely missed her brother, and soon enough he achieved fame for his exploits. She followed him in the newspapers, the tale of his remarkable discoveries, inventions, and riches. How she wished she could rejoin him, and be free from the toiling for the pastry hag. One day the girl was able to gather enough bravery to mention her brother to the Baroness, and her desire to see him again. With contempt she guaranteed that this could never happen. When the girl asked why, that is when the Baroness began to reveal to her more than just her baking secrets. She revealed that, like in many fairy tales, there was more to the children's past than they knew. The Colonel was not their father, nor was the Baroness their mother. They, in fact, had no father or mother at all, nor were they ever actually born. They had fallen from the sky. They were not actually brother and sister as they had been told either. Again, like in many fairy tales, the truth was that they were always destined to become married one day. They were to have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and these children were meant to save the world. But that's spoilers for Hive Swap. But the Batter Witch was determined to make sure this destiny would never be realized. In her limitless cruelty, she would do all in her power to keep them apart for the rest of their lives. The girl that day swore she would bring down the Baroness and her evil empire. She would use the many secrets she learned over the years against her and began carefully plotting her downfall. Years went by. The girl was nearly ready to put her plan into action, but then just like that, the Baroness disappeared.
She was never seen or heard from again. The girl was finally free, by a strange turn of events, but not without a final jab from the witch. It turned out that in her will she had left the entire company to the boy. The boy, now a grown man, was already very wealthy in his own right. He had no particular need for the baking empire, but assumed control nevertheless and integrated the company into his extensive collection of enterprises. The girl, instead of seeing this as more misfortune, took the news as a relief. She'd just as soon have nothing to do with the witch's empire and far preferred to pursue her original passion for practical japery. Hoo hoo hoo! She considered a reunion with her estranged brother, but once destined husband to be. But the days of longing for a future with him seemed to be from another lifetime. The chance had come and gone. She was content to let him live his increasingly elaborate life, while she sought a simpler one. Besides, now was not the time to revisit a destiny with an old star-crossed lover. She had recently become betrothed to a fine, upstanding gentleman. Soon she would start a family. But not one that meant for heroism. Not one meant for heroism, as foretold, but one that would make her happy, nonetheless. In following years, she was left to ponder all that might have been. What might have been if there had been no Baroness to keep the girl and boy apart? What might have been if the Baroness had not disappeared, and she had the opportunity to use her secrets against her? For you see, the girl had uncovered so many dirty secrets about the terrible Batter Witch, including the most troubling one of all. Of course, no one would have believed her, but she knew. She knew. The Baroness was not human. Fedora Freak's gray serviceable handheld computing device's battery has died. Busted into his palace. Finished the quest. I was expecting him to be asleep and was going to figure out some way to wake him up. But like last time I saw him, he was already awake to greet me. But I thought the denizens were supposed to be asleep. At least until you do the right things on your quest. They are. As sprites were programmed to know things like that about the game. But I guess not everything. It seems like if you try to go fight them too soon, you find them awake and they're like, what the fuck are you doing here already? Which is what happened last time I saw him, before I became a sprite. And I stupidly tried to fight him, which was a bad idea because he's hella strong, and the whole time he was raving about shit, like a stolen sword and missing forge. But I wasn't really listening. If I had, I might have understood. He wasn't really trying to kill me, he was giving me the choice. What choice? Wait, I mean, the choice. I always forget I can talk underline for important shit. What did you choose? I guess I made an unwitting choice by deciding to flee. I figured he was unbeatable, so I decided to get the fuck out of there. So I snapped a quick capture to get his huge hammer's code and then got the fuck out. What happened when you saw him this time? Like I said, he was awake again. But this time I wasn't in any condition to fight, so I didn't. And that's what I didn't get. He's this terrible, angry, monstrous guy, but there's no need to fight him. So he looked me up and down all hard, saw the broken sword, and like before, he gave me the choice. You mean choice? Oops. Yeah. So it was the same choice? No. It was different. I think it must always be different, depending on the circumstances. I don't know what the choice is when you face him in the way you're supposed to. But I'm showing up as this bleeding bird sprite holding this broken sword. This is a pretty odd situation. Then what did he make you decide? He sees I got this sword and it's busted and you can tell he's pissed. But like before, it's like restrained anger. Like he's always about to just fucking flip, but still keeps it together. So he can tell me. He can repair it. Make the D-ringer with the forge lit. He says he can repair anything, but only one thing, so I had to choose. So I said, okay, fix the sword. As opposed to what? Doesn't matter, really. I just thought making the sword felt like the right thing. Oh. So I gave him the sword, but it still wasn't all that simple. He needed lava from the forge to make it, which means Echidna had to be awake. Our denizens had to have some kind of truce to make it happen. See what I mean about it being complicated? Yeah. So Jade must have done something, right? To wake her up and get the forge going? Don't know what she did, though. Probably something amazing. She is still working so hard to help everyone. I guess I used to be that way. but I've completely forgotten how.
Are you sure?
What's happening?
Reckoning. It's getting close to the end. More meteors are getting by the portals. The battlefield will probably soon be wiped out.
Can we do something to stop it?
Would there be a point?
I don't know. I like it here, though. I felt like I was drawn to come here when I wasn't sure where to go.
Yeah, me too.
The meteors and all the fire. It reminds me of when I died, and I was trying to wake John up. And I was scared then too, but I didn't let the fear stop me from trying to save him.
What did you want to do if you weren't scared?
I have no idea. I guess try to help. What is there to do?
Well, I was going to bring this sword to Dave.
Oh no. Does that mean you're gonna leave?
No, I was going to say I'm not in any shape for more adventuring. I figured this is probably my last stop.
Hmm.
But maybe this is a way you can help,
You mean that I should give him the sword?
if you want.
But I don't want to leave you here either.
Maybe you don't actually have to maybe you don't have to actually go anywhere. You ought to have a lot of special powers, remember, because of ascending to doghood.
Oh, yeah.
Try doing your spacey thing. I mean, not to sound condescending or anything, but it's gotta be like borderline omnipotence, pretty much. Just put your mind to it.
All right. I will try. I am piloting the moon through the furthest ring right now. At the moment, it's passing through a dream bubble. I am visiting your dream in person. Or you are the one visiting me as I travel in your sleep, if you'd rather look at it that way.
Okay, so all those questions you asked me, getting me to remember, you were just stalling me, weren't you? So I wouldn't wake up and try to stop you.
Not entirely.
This sucks. Would you just please turn the thing around and come back?
Why? I'm already out here. Might as well go through with it.
We agreed I'd do it, though. Or at least you pretended to agree just before you going into a major league windup with your nap yarn.
A major league windup?
Sports.
It's always been pretty sad that I seem to know more about sports than you. Which is really saying something.
All I'm saying is no one likes a basketball hog.
It's probably just ball hog.
I just think you should know that in the athletic arena of competitive achievement, it's a widely known fact that cherry picking posers get showered in nothing but booze. You don't gank the rock and steal the big man's thunder on his rocket's drive to the hole.
Oh Lord.
Is that what sort of ignominy you want? See, you didn't consider sports. You never consider the sports.
The last thing I want to do is come between a big man's thunder and any particular hole he might prize.
And yet, such has been what's happened. It's like the tight end was going down the yard in sudden death. It's me, I'm the tight end. And the quarterback sniped the field goal just before the NFL buzzer went off. The greedy QB is you. Gay.
That's not even close to being a thing in football.
But instead of winning the gold sports prize, you just fucking die and nobody cares and it doesn't mean anything.
Which prize is that?
The football prize?
You mean the most vaunted accolade associated with the gridiron, known as Stanley's Cup?
No, come on. It's called the Bruce Bombardi Trophy or something for Best Pile Squad.
I'll take your word for it.
And even though you're dead, all these fat millionaires in helmets just leap on your corpse anyway and pile up, and I mean way up.
How high do they even have to be?
This sport pile doesn't stop from getting taller.
Does the officiator have a means of measurement on hand? I wouldn't want to be crushed by a non-regulation sport pile.
What do you care? You'll be dead like the mission-thieving poser you are.
Poser? So not cool.
Yes, poser. It should be my torso getting pulverized by that avalanche of overpaid beef cakes, and you know it.
I forget what we were doing, actually. Were we pursuing the hackneyed debate over who has best claim to self-sacrifice? Or seeing who can out-dumbass the other with obtuse sports lingo?
There obviously stopped being a difference between those things. The question is offensive. Almost as offensive as you stalling me while you peel out of your dumb moon. I'm the one stalling. The moon is probably just a speck in the sky now due to your strange beefcake harangue. Yeah, but I don't know how to wake back up is the thing. How do I wake back up? I guess I could wake you back up if you really want. Okay, then do it. But you have to promise to stay put. Don't try to stop me. Just let it go. But this was my mission. It really makes no sense for you to go. This was never your preoccupation. They selected me a long time ago. That doesn't make sense. Why would they drag me into it just to have me make a map and then let you ditch me? They've obviously been gunning for me too. Yes, they helped you chart a path through the ring, and they will open that path for a pilot they have marked. I believe I fit the description. I'm not sure about you. Why do you think that? I am the pilot. That's all there is to say on the matter. But I don't want you to die. Help John and Jade. This isn't right. Then I'm not going to help you wake you up. I'll stall some more. So you admit you were stalling with all that bullshit? I said not entirely. What do you mean? It's going to be a long ride through all this nothingness. Maybe I just thought some company would be nice. Before it's all over. So what'll it be? What? I'll wake you, but only if you promise to rejoin the others. Could you give John a message to me? Could you give a message to John for me? Sure, but if I'm promising not to chase you down, then there's not really any hurry to wake up. Aw, are you sure? I was looking forward to bowling another wicked googly with the yarn. Sportsways. Nah, I'll stay asleep a while. Okay. What did you want me to tell John? What was that? What? Did you hear something? No, what? I thought I heard something outside. Who's this douche dag? I mean bag. I'm stuttering. This dude is making me nervous. You don't remember him? No. Then I guess this isn't a memory. No, he's actually here with us on the moon. Not with us. Just me. You're still on dîsc, remember? Choo. Mission accomplished. What the fuck? Friendly enemies are here? Ring is still missing, though? Wait, this thing is gone too? So dumb. Actual mission is kill Jade. Woof 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 woof. Ring. Huge relief. Notice. I remember now. I was tricked by a troll into flying up to the last gate, using this rocket pack. She said I could take a shortcut and go kill my denizen while she was sleeping. It it did not quite work out that way. This sounds like Terezi's handiwork. I don't know. She didn't tell me her name. She was a blind troll. She made this incredibly shitty map for me to follow. Yep, that's her. I guess she got both of us then. Unbelievable. She tricked you too? Yes. Well, not tricked so much as she made a pointless coin flip and stabbed me in the back. Wow, that's pretty cold-blooded. Oh, sure, she was easily the most underhanded and villainous member of our group. But I did let my guard down, and even when she stabbed me, I sure didn't think I was going to die. Why not? It turns out immortality isn't all it's cracked up to be. Let's leave it at that. So I guess you never got around to giving me immortality like you said? Or killing me, for that matter. Sounds like the blind troll beat you to it. No, I did, but this will be hard to explain to you. Explain what? I guess in her own sick way, she actually did set us up on this date together. Maybe I should thank her for whenever she falls asleep? Or dies, God forbid. So, now it is a date? I don't know. I said it wouldn't be unless you remembered. And now you remember, but you still don't remember me, do you? No. Yeah, thought so. This version of you died before I started messing with you. Not that I expect you to remember what that means. No, I get that. If I had decided not to take the shortcut, I would have lived, and then you would have talked to me a lot. Yes, that's right. I guess I should have learned to give you more credit by now. Well, I might not have figured that out if not for some things that just happened. I still can't believe I'm meeting a version of you that doesn't remember a thing about me. None of my great exploits or any of the ways I helped you, only that one stupid time I taunted you. It's a vaguely frustrating feeling. Sorry, not sure what to tell you. So you remember literally nothing I told you about myself? Not even the, compromising stuff? Well, you did just show me around your planet, which was really cool. There's compromising stuff? Your species wouldn't think so, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I guess not. But who says we can't get to know each other again? You wouldn't find that boring? No way. Not if you wouldn't. You said the name of the blind troll who killed us, but you have not told me yours yet. I haven't? No. It's Vriska. Nice to meet you, Vriska. I am John, even though you know that. Yes. So now what do we do? Aside from be dead for probably ever. Man, I don't know. Maybe you could tell me about how you died? What were the things that just happened you were talking about? Choose. Well, like I said, I flew up to the last gate like this. Oh, nice boots. It brought me inside the palace. It was huge, and it took a long time to explore. It was eerily empty, too. I had that weird feeling of getting to a place in a video game you're not supposed to be yet because you don't have the right power-ups and such. You know what I mean? Not really. I'm used to taking shortcuts whenever I play games. Oh, okay. So I started getting crazy nervous the longer I was down here, and I was starting to wonder if my silly iron pogo hammer would even do any damage against the monster. What? Against a denizen? Of course that piece of shit isn't going to do anything. If I were you, I would have chucked it into the forge. Excuse me, it is called the Wrinkle Fucker, and it is totally amazing. It might be alright if you combine it with something awesome, like some cool dice, for instance. That's so absurd. Like anything like that would ever even happen. What's this? I found it very deep in the palace dungeon. I was wandering for hours, following a horrible sound through the pipes. I could tell Typheus was really close because it was very loud here. It could only be the sound of him sleeping. I was so tempted to play it, but I didn't dare risk waking him up. Pretty much by then I was sweating bullets at the thought of confronting him. You were right to be nervous. Denizens are incredibly powerful monsters. You had no chance whatsoever at this stage of the game. You might have stood a chance after I started helping you, but Terezi really screwed you over by leading you here so early. Yeah, I guess if I ever see her I should thank her too. Why? Because this was important. What was? Getting killed by a monster? Well, yes, but not just that. The whole ruse was important. If I didn't make the decision to go, then Dave would not have been able to go back in time and fix things. In fact, if I didn't die here in this palace, we would never have been born in the first place. How could you know all that? This way. This denizen does not look asleep to me. Nope. He was wide awake when I found him. I practically crapped my pants. Well, that explains your quick death. If your denizen was anything like mine, it wouldn't have wasted much time before unleashing a huge shitstorm of devastating monster magic. What was your denizen like? Her name was Cetus. She was this awful sea monster. Her lair was deep underground amidst a bunch of shipwrecks. She was quite vicious and territorial. I knew I had to kill her quickly to release the horde before she had a chance to do anything tricky. What do you mean, tricky? Did she talk to you? Oh, of course. She was babbling in riddles throughout most of the fight. I wasn't paying much attention, though. I mean, what creature doesn't speak in boring riddles in this game? So, is that what you all did? Kill your denizens as fast as possible without listening to them? Yeah, pretty much. We were all pretty good players, remember? Yes, so I've heard. Well, okay, I can't exactly speak for everyone. There was a lot going on, and I don't know how some people went about beating their denizens. For instance, I'm not sure how our hero of breath did it. Maybe the monster just released the horde for him out of pity? Maybe he just talked to his denizen? If there was a way to avoid a tough battle, I'm sure he found it. It sounds like a good way to cheat yourself out of a lot of sweet XP and loot, though. I don't know. You might be surprised. John, are you saying you had a nice friendly chat with this hideous bloodthirsty creature before it killed you? Yes! Typheus may not be pretty to look at, but he is not a bad guy at all. Alright. I think I'm going to call it here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. So that'll be a good place to start next time. It's a good place to stop now. Thank you for coming to stream. It was fun. Nice and low key. Laid back. Love you very much. Baka. Mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Kisses, kisses, kisses. It was a gross stream. Because I spent lots of the stream saying kisses, kisses. It's gross. It's icky. Baka. Alright. The storm's picking up outside, so I should cut this short. Anyways. Pushes you up against a locker and starts bullying you as soon as the call ends. Get ready for it. Mwah.